My name is Melissa Graham. We have been attending Crossroads Church for 12 years. I wanted to go through deliverance because I feel like the day-to-day just hustle and bustle of everyday life kind of creates this heaviness. And I am definitely a positive outlook person, always been a glass half full kind of girl. But I think when you're in that grind, you don't realize how much you take, and those shoulders get pretty heavy after a while. And before you know it, there's all these distractions that you didn't even realize were a part of your life until you kind of hit that reset button. So for me, Break Free was just that big reset, and I think putting things in perspective. So before going through the Break Free session, I was really curious and excited, mostly. I know that everybody in this church comes from different backgrounds. We grew up in different types of churches. That's one of the reasons why I love coming here, because you have such a blended group. But I grew up Pentecostal, so speaking in tongues, very loud services, maybe jumping a few benches, people running up and down the aisles was not something that was completely new to me, but I had kind of been away from that for years. And so in the Break Free session, I really didn't know if it would be something similar to kind of like the church I grew up in, what that personal experience was going to look like for me. And mostly, like I said, curiosity and excitement. In my session, one of the things that really stuck out to me was some of the past that I thought I had kind of worked through and compartmentalized and put in its neat little box and tucked away. As I said before, I'm really a positive person, and I consider myself pretty tough. Like, I never want to feel like I'm a victim or have that victim mentality. And so I think because of that, things that I thought I had worked through actually had deeper roots than what I realized. And so going through history and family background and generational curses and events that were not so positive. I'm also a school counselor, so I don't use the word trauma lightly, but some trauma. I think realizing how deep those roots were and how I hadn't really completely dealt with all of that was surprising to me, and so freeing once I had completed the session. So the freedom that I experience now is really kind of undescribable. As positive as I am, I'm also a worrier. If worrying were an Olympic sport, I would have multiple gold medals. A couple weeks ago in church, Brandon was talking about not having distractions, and how when your time and energy are focused on worry, you're not worshiping. And so with my Break Free session, I think that was a huge part of it, but the residual of the Break Free and things that you hear now that hit differently because of that session. And so when I get into those places of worry and, I got to have a plan A and a plan B and a plan C, my plan A is to pray. Like, I don't need a plan B and C because God's got everything. So prior to Break Free, I feel like I had a relationship with God, but it almost felt maybe surface level. And after the Break Free session, it's a whole nother level of depth that until you experience it, it's honestly hard to explain. And it is so eye-opening and so next level that it's something that you want to aspire to.